All right. Today we are jumping headfirst into the absolutely beautiful and rhythmic language of isiZulu. Our goal here is simple: to build your very first conversation, all the way from hello to goodbye. So, you ready? Let's kick things off. But first, let me ask you something right off the bat. What language actually uses clicks to speak? If Easy Zulu popped into your head, you are spot on. This is easily one of the most fascinating things about the language, and it's the perfect place for us to start. So, first things first, let's talk about the unique sound of isiZulu. Before we can even get to words and sentences, we got to get a feel for the music of the language itself.
Now, have a look at this. You see those letters C, Q, and X? Well, in isiZulu, they're not what you think. They actually represent 3 different click sounds. Now, don't stress about getting these perfect right now. Seriously, the main takeaway here is just to appreciate that this is a core part of what gives the language its incredible, unique rhythm.
Okay, now that we've dipped our toes into the sound of the language, let's get to the fun part: building our conversation. And it all starts with the most important word, right? Hello. But you'll see that right away, isiZulu does something really interesting here. So if you're greeting just one person, you'd say "Sawubona." Simple enough. But what if you walk into a room with a bunch of people? Then it changes to "Sanibona." It might seem like a small detail, but it's so cool. The language is literally built to be aware of who you're talking to, right from the very first word. All right, we've said hello. The natural next step is to ask someone how they're doing. And this simple, everyday exchange, it's actually our key to unlocking a huge piece of the puzzle for understanding iZulu grammar. So you've nailed the hello. What about how are you? Let's check it out. And hey, would you look at that? This same pattern pops up again. Talking to one person, you ask unjani. To a group, it's ninjani. You see what's happening at the beginning of those words? That u is for a single you, and the ni is for a plural you. Keep that in your back pocket because it is a super important clue.
Now, the most common and positive answer you're likely to hear is "Ngiyaphila," which just means I am well. It looks like one simple word, right? But trust me, this one phrase is packed with grammatical secrets.
Let's put it under the microscope. Ngiyaphila isn't one solid block. It's actually built from 3 distinct parts. First, you have ngi, which means I. Then there's this little piece in the middle, ya, which is a marker that tells you this is happening right now, in the present tense. And finally, you have phila, which is the verb to be well. So you're literally saying, I am being well. How elegant is that? This building block structure is at the very heart of how isiZulu works. Okay, so remember that ngi for I? Well, here is the big payoff. It's just one piece of a whole system. Check out this table of what we call subject prefixes. You've got si for we, u for a single you, ni for you plural, and ba for they. Honestly, once you grasp this pattern, you've basically just unlocked a cheat code for creating tons of different sentences. All right, so we have greetings and checking in on people totally covered. Pretty good start. Now, let's add some more practical tools to our conversation, like, counting and making simple plans. First up, the numbers 1 through 10. Kunye, kubili, kufatu. These are your absolute essentials, right? You're going to need these for everything from telling time to going shopping. They're the basic building blocks. Next up, the days of the week. But I want you to pay close attention to that third column. This is a really neat trick. To say you're doing something on a specific day, you just add a simple prefix. So, for example, uluwesini is just Thursday, but ngoluwesine means on Thursday. See? It's another one of those simple but really powerful rules. And this is where we can really start to put things together. Take a look at this sentence. Ngizokubona ngoluwesina. This means I will see you on Thursday. We can now see how to use that day of the week in a practical, complete thought. Of course, every good conversation eventually has to end. So, for our final part, let's look at the art of saying goodbye. And just like with hello, the farewells in isiZulu are incredibly thoughtful and nuanced. Okay, so this is really cool. If someone is leaving and you're the one staying behind, you don't just say bye. You say hamba kahle. It literally means go well. It's this beautiful wish for their journey. Now, on the flip side, if you're the one who's leaving, you turn to the person staying and you say sala kahle, which means remain well. So the goodbye you choose completely depends on your action in that moment, whether you're the one staying or the one going.
It's just an incredibly mindful system.
And you know that singular versus plural rule we learned a minute ago? Well, it's back. If a whole group of people is leaving you, you'd say hambani kachle. And if you are leaving a group, you'd say salani kachle. The same consistent logic just clicks right into place.
So all of this kind of brings us to a bigger question, doesn't it? What can something as simple as a greeting or a farewell really tell us about a culture? It shows us that language is so much more than just a list of words. It's a window into a worldview, one that deeply values community, context, and a genuine care for one another.